unraveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. Look away so you won't see, 'cause the pain is in my eyes. Feels like I could break at any moment and shatter your insides. If you read my mind, call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see.
Test.
Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie to you. I don't wanna fight. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 4, Tier 2 at Silverstone. And with me today, again, like it was last week, is CM Punk.
Good evening, fellas.
And it should be a little bit more of a quiet race compared to last week. Or maybe we'll get 5 safety cars again. Yesterday wasn't too much better. But as we come into this race, you can see the standings there. Romperstrat, 58 points. And AR Gamer, after a strong race last week, is only 4 points behind him. And Christian is not too far behind either. So it's all sort of heating up as we come towards the start of the midpoint of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mercedes are pulling away when it comes to constructors, 95 points ahead in the lead, 63 behind the McLaren, 54 Red Bull, and then huge gap from places below. So Mercedes boys are doing everything right so far in this season. But then again, the season is just ahead of us. Everything can happen, anything can change yet. So we're gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen. Is this race going to be more or less chaotic? Well, again, technically should be less chaotic than last time, but then again, we can never be too sure. So we're just going to have to wait to see which way is this going to go as we hit the track here in Silverstone. 20 drivers here with us tonight, so that is a full grid for Silverstone. I mean, wasn't expecting anything less. So let's see who's going to hit the track first, as we have 17 minutes to see who's going to be standing on pole position after the qualifying session.
Yep, always good to see the full grid in any tier. And yeah, it's going to be hotly contested, this win. I know AR Gamer's got great pace here. Romper Strout, we know how fast he is. And don't forget Equals, who had a poor race last week, but he was in the top 3 of the championship standings coming into round 3. So he'll be looking to get himself back in there. Other notable people to make note of is Christian, of course. He is very quick 3rd in the standings. Run Cruiser, his teammate, too. And there may be just be a few surprises from the Ferrari boys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We remember what Christian was showing us last season when it comes to the qualifying. I remember he was in Tier 2, one of the best, if not the best qualifier, of course, alongside Luke GDI, dominant champion from last season. But then again, with him gone this season, I was expecting actually Christian to be one of the part of the championship fight. Of course, he's in there, but as of right now, it's our gamer and Rompostrat who are going at it. So that is interesting. I'm interested which way is this gonna go, or perhaps somebody else will join the fight, the top 2 boys. So let's see who is working on a lap time first. I believe Aston Martin boys are gonna be the first guys to make their lap counts, as Giannis and Skamagas are on the lead of this outlap. So let's see what they can pull off. You think they're gonna be lifting each other at this point of the qualifying, just the beginning, but they're very close to each other. I can see that one of them is basically right behind the other. So do you think they're gonna be lifting right from the start?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think Slipstream here is going to hurt you through the corners. There's not really a place that you can take advantage of it other than the back straight and obviously the DRS zones. What was I about to do? I was about to change something on the UI. We've got a yellow flag that's people just slowing down to start their laps. Yes, that was what I was going. I was going to gap to leader instead of fastest lap. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I see Giannis making his way through the first sector. There he goes, 27.2, while his teammates Gamagas 27.4. There they go. Aston Martin already into the second sector. Let's see how good are they gonna go. I can see a lot of main drivers today, not a lot of substitutions, so this is definitely gonna be an important race when it comes to the fight for the championship. Both the drivers and constructors, extremely important races like that where you have a full grid, anything can happen. Everybody is at a risk, so this is definitely going to be entertaining. But then again, we hope for a bit less chaos than last time, because last time it was actually a bit too much, in my opinion, to follow. So we hope to follow as much action as possible, of course. Skamagas, he actually failed to stay in the track limits on his first quick lap, so he's going to have to go one more time. So Giannis is going to be the first man to cross the finish line in this qualifying session with a hot lap to put it on the board. Let's see how good is he gonna go. Yellow flags by Ferrari driver, and Giannis goes 125.9. The bar is set. Now we wait for the challengers to approach. Let's see what they can show us.
Yeah, not the tidiest lap from Giannis, riding on board with him during that. He's probably got another 4/10 in that easily. As Ellipson goes into pole position with a 25.7, the second car to set a time, and Smelto beats him, and Basco goes P4 as well with Dice P5. They're all filtering in, and that's Crystal's up in P3 as well.
Yeah, and I can see some drivers are just coming in the pits, and some of these are still trying to make their laps. Crowley Voice goes up into P5, setting his first time. Let's see who else puts time on the board. Dice is so far P7, the worst time put on the board, but still will have plenty of time to improve himself. So let's give him a couple of more minutes. Yellow flags in sector 2, a bit of letting each other through, so nothing too much to worry about. Trying to find out who is the closest to finishing his hot lap. Rumpelstrat heading into sector 2, sector 1, sector 2. I'm pretty sure Ethnic is going to be finishing his hot lap as of right now, but time is pretty awful, so it's just going to be put up to be there, but then again, he'll have to improve. Of course, he's got plenty of time, so there's nothing to worry about. Who else? Much said the fastest first sector, but then again, those purple sectors tend to be glitching from time to time, so I'm gonna have to wait to see if that was actually the fastest time set by the AlphaTauri driver, or was that just another mistake of the F123 game, as our gamer sets the fastest lap so far with 125.36, so that is a great time for the Red Bull driver. Now we have to look around to see what his opposition will do. What will Christian, Rompostrat, and many others put on the board?
Yeah, just keeping an eye on Run Cruiser, as he's had a tidy start to this lap. Rompostrat, less than a tenth between him and AR Gamer at the top of the leaderboard after the first laps, and that's a good sign for the race today. We'll have a close battle. And the McLaren of Run Cruiser then coming through Stowe. And gets that slowed down nicely, avoiding the red sausage curbs. And across the line, what would it be for Run Cruiser? P7.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look at Christian, who's already through his second sector. Again, the first one was purple. Ooh, equal.
Yeah.
125.2. Nice one from him. So the Mercedes driver heads to provisional pole position. But then again, Christian is on the run. Second sector also purple. And this time, this might just not be a game glitch. Perhaps he's actually that quick. We're going to find out in a couple of meters. So let's see what he's going to show us. Christian, after going through two purple sectors, heading into the final one. Onto the finish line he goes. Is this going to be provisional pole position for the McLaren driver? Yes, it is. 125.175, just ahead of equal. So that is a very equal fight indeed. We got 5 drivers very close to each other when it comes to the time differences. And then again, Larson's, Kamagas, and Mali still hasn't set the time on the board. So we don't know how much improvement there is for them to be left. And then again, some drivers who failed their first lap might improve as well. So there's plenty of room to improve for everybody and to show and to fight for the pole position, because the fight is there to be done. We have so small gaps between the top 5 that this is just, we're about to see what's going to happen with everybody on boards. And the second round of laps is about to begin, with most of the boys heading into the pits, but some of the guys already coming out for second round, and first round for some people who hasn't set the time on the board for the first time.
Yeah, and Dice hasn't set a representative lap time so far, so with that in mind, the whole field within 1 second is very impressive. All equally matched on pace, and a couple of little mistakes here and there, and you could find yourself dropping 10 positions perhaps. So a very compact field.
Yeah, exactly. And how many safety cars do you predict there's going to be today? Because of course it's not Baku, but then again, yesterday's race was pretty chaotic as well. So what do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with 0.
0?
Well, yesterday was raining, so that sort of explains it. But and me as well. I caused one of them. Oh wait, no, I didn't. I caused one of the incidents under the safety car, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
Because I'm embarrassed.
Okay, we don't talk about this. Whatever happened in Silverstone stays in Silverstone. Okay, I get it. I'm
not sure the FIA will say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won't. I'm gonna say 1 just for giggles. I mean, probably not gonna happen, but then again, if it will, I'm gonna have like a different point of view from you. So just to be different, I'm gonna put 1 safety car as a prediction. Maybe it's gonna happen. You know, I mean, we do have Dice on the grid, with all due respect to the legend of the game, but we do have Dice on the grid, so there's always a chance, you know, perhaps. Maybe it's going to happen. Nobody knows. Then again, I
Oh!
am his biggest fan. And what happened there?
Lepson just nearly spinning it, managing to save it, but they will definitely abort that. That's not going to be very fast at all. Yeah, drifting isn't the fastest way to go in an F1 car.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you're Kimi Raikkonen, he does know how to do it, or Verstappen or Vettel. Anyway, Skamagas heading into the second sector, coming out of it already. How good is he gonna go through it? As of right now, it doesn't
Invalid.
look the best, it looked the worst. Oh, invalidated again, so that's a second attempt into the bin for the Aston Martin driver. So he's gonna have to go one more time with 8 minutes left to go. Slowly but surely running out of time. He's gonna have to go one more time. This time is gonna have to be closer to a delta lap to actually set something on the board and not be left with nothing. Mali on an out lap, so he's still working on it. Who from the top boys is on a quick lap? Smelto invalidated, so no. Lepson had that moment of his own, so Crystals, I believe, is on a quick lap as of right now. He's improving just a bit after the first sector, so there's potential to improve from here, from that P12. I'm trying to find someone else. Giannis is on a hot lap again as well. Ooh, Giannis had a moment where he's gone off, and that's going to be lap invalidated for another Aston Martin driver. Olive Boys improving just a bit after the first sector, heading into the second one. And I can't find anything much more interesting than that as of right now. Sahinidis has just started his quick lap after the first sector. He's improving again just a bit. So let's see. Basco with a nice improvement. And I'm trying to find someone on a quick lap. Ooh. Yeah, Rompostrat, P4. He is on a quick lap right now. Let's see what he can show us.
Yeah, so, this is difficult on traction there. Exactly the same place where Lepson had his moment. We're coming onto the Wellington Straight, DRS open, and braking just after the 50-metre board. And hitting the apex there nicely. Keep the minimum speed up through here. You don't want to be getting lower than 70 miles an hour. That will trigger all the Europeans. I don't know what it is in kilometres per hour. And then coming down the old start-finish straight into Cops. This is flat out a downshift there for Rombostrat just to get the rotation under control. This is all flat out here. The first two corners, you don't need any brakes through this whole section. Shifting down to second, just a little tap on the brake to help with rotation of the car, and back on the power straight away, and that's nicely done. He's just under a tenth and a half up on his time, and it's a purple sector 2 into Stowe now. Got to carry the speed here, but you've got to be really careful on the exit that you don't drop the power too early and spin it into the wall. Again here, avoiding the red sausage curbs because they will not help you whatsoever. And nice tight line, and he just pips Christian by 0.002 of a second.
2,000. Wow. I mean, that is basically screaming, come on, take me on to Christian, everybody else from the top. I mean, the gap between the top 8 is so small. Okay, top 7, let's narrow it down. But then again, top 7, basically in the fight for pole position, is absolutely incredible. Our Gamer puts in the fastest lap so far with 125.126. Can anybody go underneath 125? I wonder. I mean, we do have a couple of drivers that can definitely try to do that. Are they gonna do it though? I'm looking at Christian, looking at equals, both of them improving after their first sectors. Christian improving not too heavily, but just might be enough to go for pole position as McLaren driver goes across the finish line. There he goes, 125.06. Not underneath 125, but just enough to be put on provisional pole. But then again, equals is still on a hot lap, and it's looking pretty good. Heading into the final sector, the Mercedes driver is P4 at the moment, but just might as well improve and try to fight for at least the front row, maybe something more. Where is he gonna go? Across the finish line. There it is, 124.954. So it's the first driver to go underneath 125. Equals is on provisional pole position. Who else can improve himself? Mali invalidated his lap time. And how many minutes we got left in the qualifying session? Too many yellow flags for me to see it.
You should get one more.
About
get one more lap.
3 to 4 minutes. I think so, about 3:30. So about one more lap. So it's gonna be a final round of laps to do so. And Skamaga still hasn't set time on board. I remember him invalidating 2 times. Perhaps he made a third mistake because he had like 8 minutes back then, and then he's in the pits with no lap set. So Skamagas is running out of time extremely quick right now. Larson, I don't think he even hit the track today in that Williams. At least I haven't noticed him on the track. Dice still hasn't improved from that one lap. So we're waiting for some improvements from the boys down there. The only person on the quick lap as of right now, is there anybody? Much, I think, is on a quick lap. Yes, he is. Let's see if he's going to improve, being at P13 at the moment. 0.935 from the pole sitter. Let's see, is he going to improve himself as much? Goes P4. That is a heavy improvement from the AlphaTauri driver. Well done indeed, as he goes P4. And again, such a small margin between the top, that is now top 8 of the drivers. Anybody from that top 8 could fight for at least a front row. So that is one of the tightest qualifying sessions we had that season, if not the tightest.
Yeah. Equals.
Retired in the pit lane, right?
Enough time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with this field being so competitive. Rumperstrat, as we saw, came across the line and set pole just about, but he was still P1. He would have been pretty happy with that lap. And then just about a minute later in the session, 4 drivers pip him to the post and he's all the way down in P5 again. 2/10 off. Yeah. So it looks like the track is ramping up nicely, and you probably want to be one of the last out of the garage to set your final lap, as the quick guys in Christian and AR Gamer are still sitting in the pit lane.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna have to hurry it up. Yeah, I mean, Christian is coming onto the track as we speak. Gamer is following him through. So most likely these two are gonna go for a pole position challenge. I mean, Much is coming in. He's not gonna have enough time to set the proper lap, is he? Rumpelstrat is on an out lap, so he's gonna fight as well. So is Mali, so is Sahinidis. Nick and Much is retired in the pit lane as he's down the qualifying session. Larson will not hit the track in the session. Skamagas will try to put any kind of lap on the board with his final lap, so we've got plenty of things to look out for. And I'm wondering who's going to be the first man to go for a hot lap as the final laps. Lepson is on a quick lap as of right now. He's in the second sector. Crystals is in the first sector. I think Lepson is going to be the first man to set the hot lap on the final round of laps. So as he hits in the second sector, so far looking good. Of course, not good enough for the top positions, but perhaps he's gonna try to fight for the top 10 at least. As the Haas driver makes his way into the third sector, what is his time gonna be? An improvement, not a huge one, but definitely good enough to make a couple of places if he's gonna keep up his pace. Lapson goes for the final sector. Run Cruiser gets a 5 places grid penalty for blocking, so that is going to be big for him. Dice retires, and Lapson goes across the finish line from P12 up into P7. Respectable improvement, and now let's take a look at the top of the top boys. Let's see what they can pull off in the final moments of the qualifying session for Silverstone.
Yep, Rumpelstrat will be the first out of the top 5 to set his final lap time to lay down a marker, and already nearly 2/10 up through the first sector. That is a brilliant first sector he's driven there. He's still got a little more in the tank, it looks like, and he's got to get every little ounce of performance out of that car on the final attempt in this session. Through Cops, a lift on the gears once again. And you might get a little bit of helpful slipstream from this Ferrari ahead of him.
Ooh, Christian invalidated. He's not going to improve anymore.
That's going to be important because Rumpelstrat has actually lost a bit of time on his Delta. He's only just under a 10th up now. And that's Sahinidis who goes up to P3. You weren't expecting that. That's a very nice lap from him in the Williams. And Rumpelstrat now is coming through the final chicane. It's the last chance to make up any time he's left out there.
Gamers off.
And Rumpelstrat up to P3. Christian invalid. Gamers off. Sahinidis has set his lap time. It's down to Marley now, who's ever so slightly up on his lap time. He's going to have to find at least a 10th more if he wants to even gain a single position. So it might be a bit of a challenge, and that's not going to help him.
Ooh. Nope, that's it. The
that's
Mali
the
is
grid.
done as well. So Equals is on pole position for the Silverstone Grand Prix And following him through is going to be Christian on the front row, then Rampostrat and Sachinidis in the second row. So definitely one of the best qualifying sessions we have had this season so far, and one of the closest one. I mean, look at the differences from all the way to top to bottom. I mean, 0.4 away while being P11 is ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole field pretty much within 1 second. And if you're normally 1 second off the lead, I think yesterday you would have probably been like P12, P13, maybe even a bit higher than that. And now you're right at the back.
Exactly. So that is great qualifying session behind us, and that is of course improving our appetites for the race. We are hoping to see some good action here in Silverstone, and yeah, let's see what we're going to see. I wonder why Larson didn't set his time in this qualifying session. Didn't he want to? Couldn't he, due to some kind of penalty? Because I don't really catch up with the penalties after the race. So
no, I don't think Larson would ever have a quali ban.
Yes, I mean it's pretty much too early for this, unless you had like a penalty every single race so far. So yeah, maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cruiser, by the way, he also got that 5 places penalty, so he's P18. Is P18 before reduction or after? I think it's before reducing those 5 places. So he's gonna be starting from the back.
Yeah.
So Larson is not gonna be starting from the back despite not setting a time. That is quite the achievement, I have to say. So yeah.
There you go. Very close. Mercedes going to have a good advantage. Those two will be in VC together, I'm sure, and working their strategies together in P1 and 3, see if they can make a 1-2 out of this. Is very possible, but anything's possible here because of how close the field is. One small mistake could drop you a number of positions. And the strategy is going to be medium-hard, probably hard-medium for the most of them. And because the pit lane is so long here, you only want to make one stop, unless, of course, safety cars and things like that. So you lose a lot of time making a pit stop here. So make those tyres last.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a chance to see a Williams sandwich because we have the Williams at the back, Williams at the front. Of course, it would take Williams to lead the race and the other one to go get to the back. Again, this could have happened. We don't know. Anything can happen in that turn 1 and here, so we're going to have to keep our eyes open 24/7 during that race because anything can happen here. And they do have to wonder if the race leaders who are P1, P2, and P3 at the moment will actually make it for the first corner. Of course, there's always a risk while starting first that you have everybody behind you, no one ahead of you, so you just want to get out of there as fast as possible. But then again, you have to look into the mirrors to not get caught up by anybody, not get swooped, because there's always a risk of going from P1 all the way down to the bottom. So they're going to have to keep their eyes open as we are still waiting for the preparations to the race. We do have a formation lap. So let's see what are the tire picks to begin with. And we have plenty of softs. Either you're a bad strategist or these guys are just
I wasn't expecting this at all. But there you go.
Yeah, plenty of softs. Equals Rompostrat. So both Mercedes boys are on softs. We've got our gamer, Mach, Lepson, Hudim. Oh my goodness, plenty of softs. Couple of hards and even less mediums. So that is an interesting sight. We got a bit of everything. So again, without safety cars, this could be a very important strategy-wise. But then again, it's a league race. Despite the fact this is that type of track where safety cars are not that often, it could happen. So everybody needs to have that in their mind that there's no guarantee we're not going to have a single safety car to the finish line. In fact, I would have to say there's a bigger chance that we're going to see a safety car on the track than we won't. But then again, anything can happen. So we're going to see who's going to make the most benefit, who's going to benefit the most from a possible safety car. Of course, that depends when he's going to show up on the track and if ever. So Equal starting on softs. He's going to want to pull away from there as fast as possible. Rompostrat, who will most likely want to jump Christian as soon as possible and then follow his teammate and just keep lifting each other to pull away from the rest of the grid. Behind them on softs, the next one is Gamer, so he's going to have to work his way through Sachinidis first on these mediums while he's on the softs. So There are plenty of things that we have to look out into the first corner. The most important thing is Equals going to be leading after turn 1, and is Rumpelstrat going to jump Christian when it comes to the top of the field.
Yeah, especially with this turn 1 as well. It's a bit different in that respect, that it's not a braking zone, maybe a slight lift on the first lap, but with cold tyres, and it gets really tight, it pinches at the apex, so there's not much room if you want to go more than 2 wide there, so could see a bit of carnage, maybe not, maybe, you never know around this track, but yes, Rumpelstrat will have the advantage off the line on Christian, and that little bit of slipstream he's going to get from his teammate as well. Here we go then. It's round 4, and who's going to win this one? It's Equals, and it's Sahinidis on the medium who's got a really good getaway. He's already on the back of Christian. Is he going to get him into turn 1? The 2 Mercedes lead is Christian, who is overtaken by Sahinidis, who's in the Williams, and AR Gamer is now trying to go round the outside. Christian dives. Sahinidis, he's gone right up the inside of everyone. He's hit Rumpelstrat, who's down to P4. Much is all the way up to P3 now. And Marley, his teammate, up to P6 with AR Gamer just ahead of him. It's all thundering down into turn 1. There's some chaos right at the back there. Equals has a substantial lead. Much now trying to get into P2. Best of the rest at the moment. And Rumpelstrat has been booted down. He was up to P2. He's down to P4. That was an awful move from Christian, I have to say. And he's down to P7. And he's going to have to recover from there.
And Equals is just pulling away 1.2 gap already ahead of Sahinidis, who is now keeping the most of the soft boys behind him. Here comes March trying to overtake the Williams as soon as possible. In the meantime, we have lost a couple of drivers in the back. Gurla, Crowley Voice, and I believe Skamagas were involved in that collision. Skamagas was actually penalized for that with a 5-second penalty for hitting Gurla, so he must have hit the Prime driver as they picked up another one. There goes March on the inside, and he makes a nice move up into P2, and the Williams driver can't do much in return as of right now. Sahinidis gonna have to sit back. Ooh, and Rumpelstrat having a bit of an issues right now, trying to get past the Williams, so he's gonna lose a bit of momentum again, and Equals is just creating his huge gap as of right now. It's already 2 seconds above March. Sahinidis gonna try to get back ahead of Atari driver again, while Rumpelstrat is making a huge pile up behind him. Gurla gets a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane, most likely coming in to retire, as we have plenty of cars in the midfield very close to each other. I mean, look at Snake going up, stretching all the way from P2 down until basically P15. So there's a huge line of cars. Sahinidis trying to make a move against Much. He can't do it quite yet. In the meantime, Houdin gets past the Red Bull of Mali, who is now struggling to the
Oh, Smelto on track. VSC, he's crashed somehow.
Yeah. And what could have happened here? He must have hit somebody, because where he stands, I refuse to believe he hit someone that hard to get DNF'd. So must have happened with something. I have no idea what happened there. But then again, we have a virtual safety car. It's most likely not gonna wait. Actually, is this a VSC? I can see a safety car on the track. Look at this.
Oh,
there's a safety car on the track.
It says virtual safety car, doesn't it?
I know, but look at the map. Look
at the there is safety car now.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, I was looking at SC from Gurla's POV. I can see it right in front of my face, and then it says VSC into my face from the game, and I was like, what the heck? But then again, yeah, we have a full-on safety car, so I already won the prediction contest, unless it's going to be 2 safety cars. Equals, who was pulling away nicely, building a huge gap from all the chaos in the back. Now his whole advantage has gone to hell. It's nowhere now. It's going to be all reduced and restarted, so Equals must be not happy about that. Janis enters the pit lane, so is Basco, but the rest of the boys stay out. Most of these guys most likely pit due to some kind of damage. I'm going to take a look at that. Are they going to change any parts? Here comes Janis, and he will not change his front wing, so just tires, but Basco does change his front wing indeed.
So Basco must have been involved in that collision with Smelto, I imagine, because he had no front wing left at all.
Yeah, exactly. So the soft runners definitely not happy about that early safety car, especially equals, but the whole group of guys who started on softs must not be happy about that because the softs are most effective right now. So they're gonna have to lose a bit of this time, the most effective time of their compound, and the medium boys are definitely happy about this. Sachinidis, we have to praise him on how much he improved from the start. Of course, he was able to avoid most of the chaos and most of the carnage. He benefited on that heavily. He was able to keep up his pace with the boys on softs while being on mediums. So Sachinidis is doing a pretty good job so far. While Christian is not having a good time, isn't he?
No. Down to P8 after starting in second place. Must have been a lapse in concentration to break that late. Thankfully, I don't think he got any damage, and everyone he affected hasn't really had too much damage to their race either. So reset and see if he can get himself back up the order where he was before.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to wait a bit longer because Gurla and Skamagas are heavily in the back, and I have to wonder how is Gurla going so slow, or at least he has such a huge gap. He's going 40 seconds behind everybody else. Jesus. So it's gonna take a while for him to get back to the rest of the field, catch up, and every single lap we go under the safety car, the guys on softs are not happy, and they're less happy with every lap they consume because these tires are just wasting their potential as of right now. They're gonna have to keep that in mind when thinking about their strategy onto what to hop on later, because with that safety car, technically soft mediums is possible. Of course, it's gonna be difficult, but it is a possibility that you can't exclude. But then again, it's most likely not recommended in here, so we'll see what they're gonna do. Team wise, Mercedes as at the moment, great positionings, P1 and P4. So Mercedes are having a wonderful race so far. AlphaTauri with P2 and P15, Williams also with P3 and out of the points, so close enough. Okay, Red Bull 6th and 7th, pretty good from the Red Bull, but then again, they are most likely expecting more than that. Alpine P6 and P14, McLaren's P8, P12, both has in the points. And none of the Ferraris are in the points so far, which is a bit of a surprise. But then again, Gurula is in the back after a collision. Crystals is P11 as of right now.
Yeah, as it stands, the championship, obviously, we're only 4 laps into the race, but Equals is in a great position here with Rombostrat, AR Gamer, and Christian all the way down in 4th, 5th, and 8th. So he's got a great chance this race to maybe get himself back into the championship fight.
Mm-hmm. The most beneficial person for that safety car is definitely Ron Cruiser. I mean, the guy started all the way in the back. He gained 8 places, and now he's going to have the ability to gain even more after the safety car restarts. So Cruiser is having a wonderful race as of right now, despite absolutely hideous qualifying session. Then he's slowly but surely coming back into this race, and I'm going to have to keep my eye open to see where's he going to finish, because I'm curious if he can get back into the points and pick up some heavy points for the McLaren. I wonder if he can make that kind of comeback all the way from the back. Would be interesting to see. Gurla is slowly but surely catching up to the rest of the field, so there he goes. We're basically stuck up, but then again, it has to be at least one more lap under the safety car. So lap 5 is going to be under SC, and then lap 6 we're going to go racing. Hopefully, this is going to be a final restart of the safety car today. We don't want to see that too often because it can definitely improve the race, but in a situation like that where it just jumps out early on, it's not really beneficial for the show, and the race strategy depends, of course, on what you're picking on the what kind of tires are you picking on the opening laps. Yeah, so if we were wondering if this is gonna be more crazy than Baku, then I believe that this long radio silence and that safety car image definitely answers the question that as of right now, it is not better than Baku. I mean, better, not more crazy than Baku. Maybe it's gonna be better at the end of the day. We do like to see both chaos and nice, clean action. So far, we've seen plenty of both of these in this race, with Christian dive bomb, with some moves from Sachinidis, with some moves from Cruiser. So definitely we've got things to look out for in the future, but as of right now, we have to finish that one final lap underneath the safety car.
Yep. Sailor's got to be careful on this restart. He's got 3 soft runners behind him, so he could find himself dropping positions pretty quickly if his tyres aren't up to temperature. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this second stint. The safety car will be in this lap.
So Equals is going to be restarting the race after the safety car. Let's see which way is he gonna choose to restart the race. We know that you can do it in plenty of ways. You can start off very early and try to catch them sleeping here. You can wait them out and do it as late as possible, which we saw in Baku as well. You could try to do it somewhere in the middle. Let's see which tactic is Equals going to reach for. What is he gonna do? So far going very slowly, not just taking his moments as a race leader, trying to catch the rest of the field sleeping as they're sneaking up behind that Mercedes. Still waiting for the best opportunity, and there he goes, fully deep on the throttle, nicely pulls away from much gains, about half a second worth of gap over the AlphaTauri. So now gonna have to look in the mirrors because here comes Sakhinidis trying to gain something as well onto that main straight. I don't see many overtakes in the top incoming. Maybe Rompelstraat could do something. No, can't as of right now, but here they go. Rompelstraat is right at the back of Sakhinidis. Of course, better tires on the Mercedes driver. Is gonna try to use them to make an overtake soon on the Williams driver. Here comes Rompelstraat. He's definitely quicker in some moments, but he's gonna have to make absolutely the most of his pace to make that overtake happen. But then again, he has to watch out because our gamer is right behind him, so he's gonna have to keep his eyes open 24/7 in every direction. Here comes Gamer trying to make a move on the inside. No, not enough space for him, so we're gonna have to back it up for now. And that is a very tight battle in those positions. But then again, Equals has pulled away nicely again. He's already 1.21 ahead of Much, which means Much is not going to get DRS after it gets wide open. And Sakhinidis definitely too far mated. He's going to have to pay the price for that in a moment, unless he doesn't. I mean, I was expecting him to lose much more than that, unless he, of course, got a warning for that. So as of right now, he's still sitting at that P3, holding on nicely on those mediums. Rumpelstraat trying to make the best of those softs, and there's an overtake in the back. Christian going now on the inside of Mali. Is it overtake? No, Mali's trying to stay in this from his left side, and there they go into another corner. Christian round the outside on the Red Bull driver. Now he's gonna have the inside line. He should get him in here on the exit. Is he? Equals gets the fastest lap, and there goes Christian onto the main straight side by side. McLaren and Red Bull. Takes P7 with a bit of contact as well. Cheeky, but he gets the job done.
Yeah, and Hoodem up the inside of AR Gamer now. So, that's a bit of contact there. There's definitely more contact than there was prior. AR is ghosted, but now he's come back to life, and he's got to be careful because Christian's right there on his outside. It's getting oh so close between these top guys. Speaking of it, Zahididis up the inside of Much on his medium tyres as they come to life. He's up into P2 now, and only 1.5 seconds separating him from the lead. He'll be looking at that as his next target. Christian, though, was started P8 and on the restart, and he's up to P6 now, even after a little bit of contact. So that's a good start as the Crawley voice, and I think that's Dice at the back is having an issue. And the two Red Bulls swap. Does AR Gamer have damage? He's dropped down the field a little bit, maybe overheated tyres on those old softs. We'll have to keep an eye on him. But he's all the way down to 8th now after starting 5th at the restart. Good one for Hoodim and Christian, though.
Yeah, and Christian is looking for another overtake opportunity as he's targeting Hoodim now to get himself up into the P5. Again, Hoodim on better tires, but Christian just doesn't seem to care a bit. He's already getting closer to the back of that Alpine, looking for a way past. He's going to go down to the left. No, he's going to back it up for now. But then again, we can see that he's a bit faster than Hoodim, so if he makes it properly, he can do it. There he goes. Hoodim had a bit of a slip up exiting that corner, so maybe right now, no, he's not going to have enough long straight pace, so he's gonna have to wait it out again. In the meantime, Rompelstraat is right on the back of Much, while Sakhinidis is doing a great work on these mediums, already sitting at P2. I mean, at this point, mediums are supposed to be at least same as softs, if not better, because like 7-8 lap deeps, let's get those softs are not going to be as effective as in the beginning. Christian trying to find the way past off Udim again, couldn't find it as of right now. In the meantime, we have plenty of fight in the midfield as well. I mean, Basco against Larson. We do have a duel between Haas of Ethnic and Run Cruiser, and then the Red Bulls alongside each other. So plenty of action going on as of right now in Silverstone. So far, no moves has been made in a couple of recent laps, at least from the top boys.
Yeah, and look at Zahididis. The mediums have really come to life. You can see it on Christian as well, who's hounding down these soft runners. Hoodham is the one ahead. Yeah, Zahididis within DRS range of equals, and the gap that was between P1 and 2 is shifting to 2 and 3, and much is now under pressure from Romperstrat, who will have DRS when it's enabled. He doesn't even need it. He's going round the outside and round into Stowe. He takes the podium position back as a double podium for Mercedes at the moment. Christian is still stuck behind, and he's got this little train up here headed by Romperstrat now.
Yeah, and he's definitely gonna try to get out of there, because those mediums, as we just saw, presented by Sachinidis, they're definitely better than softs as of right now. So Christian is gonna have to make his way up positions, because everybody ahead of him is now on softs. So he's gonna want to pass them as soon as possible. Of course, there he goes against Hudim, trying to make the best of these tires, but still can't find enough pace in the straight line to get past that Alpine of Hudim, who is really quick in these long straights. Oh, getting closer and closer. With every moment, he's going to have to find the opening in a corner. Maybe right now. No, not enough space for Christian to risk it. I mean, he definitely has some kind of PTSD after that first corners maneuver, so he's going to have to watch out twice as of right now. And still trying to find a way past, but still can't get the move done. In the meantime, I see that Cruiser has already picked up places enough to be in the points, as he's in the top 10 as of right now, and is still getting closer towards Ethnic. So huge congratulations to Cruiser for gaining those 10 places, and just keeps on coming. I wonder if he's gonna finish even higher than that. In the meantime, the top boys are close to each other. Sachinidis already 0.5 behind equals, and he just keeps getting closer. So Sachinidis might be leading the race in a couple of laps. We're gonna have to keep our eyes open for that to see if it's going to happen. Yellow flags in the back.
Both Ferraris.
Ooh,
I
both
think.
Ferraris. No,
No,
Gurla's running,
yeah.
but in the back. So still, Ferrari out of shape. So that's a shame for the Ferrari boys. And Crystals gets a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane.
I think this time for equals to pit right now. He doesn't want to be involved in a battle with Zahididis. His softs are going off. He can easily make it to the end tier on mediums thanks to that safety car. And you can see the mediums have really come to life, so he'll be even faster on fresh mediums compared to Zahididis is older. No moves into this corner as we come through on the 11th lap of the race. Yeah, I'd be calling for equals to pit now if I was his engineer.
Yeah, unless they want to try to do the bit of lifting maneuver, so he's going to let Sachinidis pass him, or Sachinidis is just going to pass him. He's going to try to stay on the back of Sachinidis, get some DRS from the guy on better tires. So maybe they're going to try to do that to extend this soft stint for as long as possible. Maybe that's what's going on right now, because then again, I can't find a better explanation onto why they're still on these softs. But I mean, as long as he's holding it up his own and he can still fight against Sachinidis, then why not? In the meantime, Christian moves to the right side of Hudim, trying to find a way past that Alpine, despite the fact he was faster on that long straight. Finally gets him into the corner from his right side. There he goes. And there they go into the pit lane. Soft boys are coming in. Mach and Rompostrat both in the pit lane. Equals stayed out. Hudim stayed out. And the other guys from Softs also coming in the pits. So we're going to have Equals and Hudim. I think they're the only guys who stayed out on soft tires. I mean, they can't both get into the pits, so definitely a good decision to keep one of the boys from the team out on the track. And now we're going to have to see how effective this is going to be, because Sachinidis, he's right in the back of Equals, but still hasn't found a way past him. Christian 2.4 behind them, Houdin right behind him, and Mali is right behind Houdin, makes his way past the Alpine driver on his left side, gets the job done.
Yeah, interesting there that the Romperstrat was the Mercedes who got preference of the pit stops over Equals. If the undercut is anything powerful, he might actually find himself out ahead in the lead of the race if Equals comes in a couple of laps later. And he won't be very happy about that. We'll find out. Run Cruiser on the back of Etney, and he's going to have a good chance coming onto the back straight with DRS if he can keep it together in the dirty air through these few corners. And it looks like he has, and in fact Etney goes a bit wide there, but Run Cruiser loose himself. He will have DRS, and he is past Etney before the braking zone.
Equal stays out, and that is interesting to see. And I can tell you also another thing, that definitely Sachinidis is holding back, because I was watching him just about now. He on purpose stayed behind Equals, where he could have easily passed him. So that is interesting from both the Mercedes and the Williams driver. I have to wonder which one of these strategies will be better. I mean, the question is, how much quicker is Sachinidis than Equals? Is it actually worth it for him to sit behind that old softs Mercedes? Because I mean, sure, Equals can stay out for as long as he pleases while he has DRS from Sachinidis. There he goes. Sachinidis finally making the move to become the new race leader. And now can Equals keep up behind the guy on the way better tires? If he can't, it's time to pit. I mean, it was time to pit a long time ago, but then again, he needs to pit as of right now. And Christian 2.8 behind Equals, not really gaining too much towards him. So Equals is in a pretty good spot as of right now.
Sorry, Romperstrat trying to get past Dice, who was barged off the track. Romperstrat now. He hasn't lost any positions, and it's only mounted in about a second of lost time. But that will dent his confidence trying to get past him in the future. And he's got to get through this traffic pretty quickly, so he doesn't lose out what he's gained through the undercut. I was about to say, I think Equals is playing a dangerous game here, as he is going to come into the pits here, is he? Yes, he is. We'll see where he comes out. I think that barge off track by Dice might have just about saved Romperstrat, as Equals just about saved himself from a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. Yeah, I think if he stayed out another lap, he would have definitely been behind, and maybe even behind... although, who's that? Hoodim. Hoodim has got past Romperstrat now as well. Or did I miss that?
I don't think he passed him yet. He passed the Dice just a moment ago. But
sorry.
I don't think
I was confusing Romperstrat with... I thought he was in... Never mind. Wrong Mercedes.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So
let's see where Equals comes out.
Yep, Equals coming out. There goes Gamer. Right ahead of him, so Equals gonna come out on P13, and Dice has retired, not in the pit lane because there's a safety car. What happened? Let's see from the perspective of Skamagas. What?
Into the pit wall. Looks like into the pit wall, but how was it that far down? I could understand. I could understand spinning out of the final corner, maybe. Yeah. But you wouldn't be that far down.
In the middle of a straight. How do you do that? I mean,
I don't know.
It looks like a...
This one will stay virtual.
What was that called? The infamous drama scandal about crashing on purpose in Singapore, I believe. What was that called again? Oh my god. Yeah, I mean...
Singapore.
That looks like Crashgate. I mean, why is he standing in the middle of a straight?
I tell you what, Sahinidis and Christian are going to inherit the lead here if they pit. And this... Oh! Whoa! Why did Sahinidis not pit? And Christian? And Marley?
What?
Am I just being silly, or I thought that was a free pit stop to inherit the net race lead?
I mean, it is a virtual only, but still, it is more effective to pit under the VSC than not at all, I believe. It's already green, but...
Yeah, but you still would have gained a little bit. And it's well within the pit range. They did 13 laps, did Equals on the softs, so...
Perhaps they're gambling for another full safety car, or at least another VSC. I have no idea. We're going to have to focus on that a bit later. As of right now, the guys in the top don't fight against each other too much. The most of the fight we actually have right now is in the midfield after those pit stops. I can see that Equals is trying to find his way past Gamer while he's under pressure from Much. So there's going to be interesting three-man battle. That is the closest we have going on to a possible overtake. So let's stick with those boys and let's see who can make a move if they actually want to make a move, because then again they might just cooperate a bit to get closer to the guys in the front.
Yeah, AR Gamer in the net race lead at the moment. Of course we'll find out if that's the case when Zahinidis and Christian pit, but I imagine they'll still be behind. So yeah, AR Gamer has got himself back up after that poor lap that he had. I think he collided with someone and then dropped a few positions all the way down to P8. But he's now back into the lead of the race when all the pit stops filter out. And much P2. P3, sorry, equals P2.
Yes, exactly.
But I think AR's going to get overtaken here anyway.
Lapson gets a free second time penalty for invalidating track limits. In the meantime, equals does make a move on Gamer. Yellow flag.
That's on
Giannis
track
has
as
been
well.
in the wall.
Full safety car. And he
So
just gets that move done. Sahinidis and Christian, it's just a little too late. They've gone past the pit lane.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong cars anyway. I was looking at Larson and Gula. Why didn't Larson and Gula pit? Maybe they were passed as well.
Absolutely not the best spot for them to be in. But then again, a full safety car is perfect for them. I mean, it's much better than VSC. Then again, it was a bit of a gamble, but they got what they wanted in the end, because now getting that full safety car, they just might get a new fresh tires and they might actually hold on to that lead, unless the gap is not going to be big enough. Depends on who's going to stay out and who's going to come into the pits.
Well, they do have the delta for this whole lap until they cross the line, so they won't actually lose any time being past the pit lane when the safety car was announced.
Yeah. So
Romperstrat pits again. And he's now right at the back.
Okay. Perhaps there was some kind of damage? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe he just went for softs.
Huden as well.
So, I mean, at this point, I'll be stunned if they won't pit from the top, but...
Well, yeah, of course they
happen if they wouldn't. There they go. Sahinidis. Christian. Following him through is Mali. Run Cruiser as well. Basco. And Larson and Gurla. And a 5-second penalty for Run Cruiser
in a good position.
For coming in the pit lane too quickly. Ooh, that's going to hurt him at the end of the race, surely. He's going to feel that later on. Now let's see where Equals is going to come out, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to come into the pits.
No. Sahinidis will be in the lead, I reckon.
Yeah, on fresh soft, so that is a huge advantage for these guys. Equals is doing everything he can underneath that delta to get as far ahead as possible. There he goes. He's not going to be leading, of course,
he's going to get past
he's going to gain a couple of places. Is he? Oh, he's going to get right behind Mali, sitting on P4. So,
dear.
Not the best, not the worst.
No, he's on mediums, though, as well, which isn't great.
Yeah.
And he's lost out on 3 positions, so that's an awfully timed safety car for him.
Yeah,
Marley, though, has come from nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, Mali came from nowhere. Now that I mention it, I haven't even realized. What position did he start again? Let me check that real quick.
He did start in 7th, but...
Yeah, and he got up all the way
still,
to
we
P3.
haven't noticed him through the whole race, and now he's suddenly up to
absolutely.
P3.
So, Cruiser gaining 15 places, but then again, he's going to have a bucket of cold water on top of his head once he finishes, after he sees those 5 seconds get applied to him. So, not the best situation for Cruiser as of right now. Could have been way better. Sahinidis, Christian, and Mali. I mean, it would be crazy to say that these top 3 are not considered only winners as of right now. I don't think Equals can get them to the finish line with the amount of pace they're going to deliver onto that track for the next couple of laps, the final remaining laps. So I'm pretty sure the winner is going to be decided between those 3, Sahinidis, Christian, and Mali. And Rompostrat, P16. That is very important for the championship. But then again, Gamer is also out of the points. I mean, he's in a way better situation. He might just jump into the points a couple of laps later. But then again, he could have picked up so much if he would have been like in the top 3 in this race. And I don't think he's going to be that high at the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's not their own doing, though. They couldn't really do anything about it. Although Rompostrat has lost a lot of time. I don't know if anything happened there. You would have expected him to be just behind AR Gamer and maybe Huden, but
so that is weird. But then again, we're gonna have to hope that they know what they're doing, or that it wasn't their decision to be that far behind. Maybe it was some kind of a mistake or some kind of someone else is doing. I don't know. So Lap 17 it is. The grid is going to be lined up at the end of the lap, so perhaps it's going to be in this lap. If not, it's going to be next lap surely. It's going to be about lap 18, 19, so not plenty of laps to the finish time. I'm wondering if those mediums, those fresh mediums, of course, could benefit and get him some kind of advantage on the final lap at least, but I don't think that even on lap 26, those mediums are going to be better than these fresh softs. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you say that, but I mean, I think it was lap 6 or 7, wasn't it, when Sahinidis was closing up on equals on the medium, so there might be a bit of hope there.
Yeah, something about that. So it is important for these guys to see which lap is this safety car going to come in, because if it's going to be in this lap, then those mediums guys can hope for the best. If it's going to be next lap, then he's going to be restarting at lap 19 about the time. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Then again, Equals is already on 4 laps old mediums, so he's in a way worse situation than, for example, Basco. But then again, there's some kind of potential for the guys in mediums left in there to show us, to prove that these softs will be dying at the end. Then again, it all depends on how big will be the usage of these softs, because as of right now, they're just cruising and they're going to go full speed in a moment.
Yeah, I think the safety car will be in this lap. There it is.
Yep, there it is. So, Sahinidis is going to be restarting the race under the safety car, and is that for the first time this season that Sahinidis is restarting the GP? I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen him do that before. We had plenty of drivers do that, but I don't think Sahinidis was one of them. So, the Williams driver restarting. Where's he going to go? Deep on the throttle. So far, sneaking up, waiting. Oh, Skamagas! What's going on down there? Skamagas all the way down to 14th. Must have been some kind of mistake from him. He was P10, I believe, just about now. He lost a couple of places. Our gamer back into the points, so silly mistake from him out of the safety car. And now let's see what Sahinidis will give us. A lap. We're entering lap 18. Sahinidis, there he goes, fully onto the throttle. Didn't pull away too much from Christian. Both of them did gain a bit over Mali. Mali was caught sleeping just a bit, but Christian is not the one who was caught off guard and still going after Sahinidis. Gamer gained already one place, going up into P9 ahead of Gurla, while the top 3 guys are closing in on each other. And Equals is actually holding up behind those guys nicely, trying to stay in there. Hudim gets up into P12 ahead of Mach, and Cruiser is already on the back of Equals, so the top 5 guys are going at it. Christian against Sahinidis and Equals against Cruiser. In the meantime, Gamer already gets up into P8, and Cruiser tried to get past Equals right there, but just no space and no pace enough to make that overtake as we head to the long straight. Still no overtakes being done in top, while Gamer just keeps getting positions. He's now hunting down Ethnic in P7 on older mediums, so he's in a great spot, having some wonderful pace as of right now. And if the top boys are just going to keep blocking each other, then Gamer is in the perfect situation to get back into some strong points.
Yeah, Run Cruiser wanting to make up time to offset his penalty, but he can't get past right now Equals. Although he's on slightly fresher tyres, but there won't be any difference in pace. Apparently he ran wide there, and it didn't look like it on my screen, but he has a penalty. And very slow from Equals through that chicane. Rungu's unable to get through.
Yeah, Mali gets the new fastest lap of the race, 127.6, as we still watch these guys race each other hard, but still no major overtakes being done in the top. Most of these guys are just waiting patiently for the best situation. Of course, the guys on mediums just kind of have to wait for the guys on softs to lose their most effective pace that they are having right now. The guys on softs don't use that pace too much to pull away. I mean, there's not really too much they can do about it. They would have to work together somehow with 3 guys and softs work together. In the meantime, Cruiser's still trying to pass Equals, and this time he just might do it. Already being side by side. Oh, we saw that once in real life. Don't make it again. Thankfully, Cruiser backs it off. We're not going to have a replay of that. In the meantime, Equals gets past him, and Mali went a bit wider down there at one of the exits. He's going to have to watch out for the 3-second time penalties. Cruiser might warn him that they're not that good as he might think they are. And Gamer is already on the back of El Etnik, so he's already sneaking up on Haas driver, sitting at that P8, trying to get up into P7, from which he's going to have to hunt down Basco and older mediums as well. So Cruiser is trying to get in as much places as possible, while Equals, Cruiser, and Mali are going at it. And Basco has dropped out of the DRS range of Cruiser. That's going to be important because if he's not going to get caught up soon enough, then he's most likely not going to fight for the top 5 against everybody else because they're in a very tight train of DRS going to the finish line. Still, Sahinidis is leading us with Christian second and Mali third, and Cruiser and Equals. I was suspecting them to be way slower than they are. As of right now, they're actually having a very good pace, or a decent pace. And based off of that, I can say that the final moments of the race are totally unpredictable as of right now because Mali, Christian, Sahinidis are, of course, at the advantage right now. But on the finish line, Cruiser and Equals just might have something more to say. But as of right now, they're racing each other. And Cruiser doing the same maneuver on the inside. And this time, he's actually going to get the job done. Is the Equals trying to get back in there on the outside. Clean through the corner. And Equals is back at it again. But how many times is he going to do the same thing? Cruiser, who was trying to do this for like past 3 laps, he still can't get past him. But I can see that lamp blinking on the Mercedes, which means Equals out of battery. So Cruiser is looking for that maneuver. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it right now using this battery. There he goes to the right side of Mercedes. Down the inside. There he goes up into P4.
Not quite yet, though. They're still side by side.
Ooh.
And Equals up the inside, locks up, and does well to keep the car under control, but he has lost the position. Yeah, I was going to say this is so frustrating for Equals because he knows he's just going to regain the position at the end thanks to Run Cruiser's penalties. It's just losing him time.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely he's going to be pissed about that. And then again, he's going to have to want to get past him as soon as possible because if Cruiser is going to keep just blocking him, they're going to have to focus on the gaps between them and top 3 because if the top 3 will pull away now, they probably are not going to get back there, so they're going to have to stick there. In the meantime, Gurla has dropped places, and so did Gamer. He got down to P9. Must have been some kind of mishap between Gamer and Gurla, because they both dropped a bit of places and time compared to Basco and Etnik, who are still out there. So yeah, interesting thing to see. As I can see, Mali is dropping a bit of pace in the gap as of right now. He was about 0.7 behind Christian for a moment, but then again, they just can't pull away from each other as of right now, and the gaps being so small, they just have to keep following each other in the DRS train, so there's no room to pull away from anybody as of right now. Cruisers is gonna go for that move to the right side again on Equals. Not as of right now. Sorry, on Mali this time. He's actually racing Mali. I thought he was racing Equals, but then again, he's racing Mali. So Equals, he's actually dropping a lot of time. Look at this, 0.8 already. So Cruiser has that pace to fight the guys in the front, while Equals on those used mediums, not so much. But then again, Equals has plenty of penalties on him, so it's gonna be difficult for him to do much more than he can. But he's gonna fight Red Bull anyway, as he's gonna try to find a way past Mali, but Mali is still holding on to that P3, but Cruiser had a nice exit. He's gonna get DRS and a plenty of slipstream. Is he gonna get past the Red Bull driver?
Christian.
Not quite yet. Christian is now leading the Silverstone Grand Prix ahead of Sakinidis with a couple of laps to go. And you have to wonder who's gonna win this GP.
Yeah, and Run Cruiser almost got his nose up the inside of Mali there, just didn't have quite enough traction on the hard compounder tyres to keep it there. And he's going to have another opportunity, although Sahinidis extremely close to Christian here. Surely he's not going to try and make a move in Maggots and Beckett's. That would be something special if we saw that. But he's going to have the DRS zone straight ahead, and it should be an easy overtake to take the lead again.
Yeah, exactly. And Pristos in the meantime gets a 3-second time penalty. I'm trying to take a look if there's some kind of fight in the midfield, and despite the fact everybody is close to each other, then there's nothing like what we see right now in the top. Much gets back into the pointing position ahead of Larson to make that move for P10, but the top 4 drivers are so close to each other. In the meantime, Equals has dropped out of the DRS range, so that most likely means he's not going to be fighting for even a podium in this Grand Prix, unless, of course, some kind of tragedy happens in the top. Of course, we don't hope for it to happen, but then again, it's a league race. Anything can happen as Sachinidis is leading the race. Christian, oh, there was an attempt from Run Cruiser to get on the inside of Mali. They have to be careful because that is an easy way to get yourself out of the GP. Thankfully, they both stayed on the track and they keep racing each other. Rompostrat. Oh, there's a yellow flag in the back caused by Crowley Voice, who has gone off, but he's not crashed. He just gone off, so most likely gonna come back any time now as they keep racing. And with a couple of laps to go, I can see that Equals is just pulling away further, 1.4 already, so he's not rejoining that fight for the win or even a podium anytime soon. And with Cruiser having those penalties, it is going to be between the top three. So Sachinidis, Christian, and Mali are going to go for the win. But which one of them is going to come out on top, we're going to see in a couple of laps. As here they go again. I'm wondering if Christian's actually holding back against Sachinidis and is just trying to make his attempt in the right moment, in the right place, or is he just not quick enough to overtake Sachinidis? Surely with DRS wide open every DRS zone, he's going to have to be holding back a bit, is he?
Yeah, I think so. This is where the strategy comes into it. You've got to think about the maths. There's 3 chances left on that back straight. If you take it now, then he'll take it again, and you can take it back again, perhaps. But, you know, you have to leave a margin for error when thinking about these things. So it's all up to Christian. When does he want to take the lead? And if he does, he's got to make sure he does it and sprints away at the top so he can't be re-overtaken on the last lap. Look at this from Run Cruiser, very close as well.
Close, but not close enough. Oh, he had to brake right before the Red Bull as he keeps on going there onto the right side, and this just might be the move. Cruiser going up onto that P3, of course. We're not mentioning those penalties, but there goes Mali around the outside, faster than Cruiser as of right now. I'll try and take a look at the midfield because I can see that Gurla is sneaking up on Basco, trying to find his way past the Alfa Romeo driver who's running out of ERS. Gamer's also there in the mix, trying to find something for himself. So there's plenty of action in the midfield as well, but we have to keep up with the top boys to see who's going to win this GP and who's going to be on which place on the podium. So let's keep our eyes open on that, and we're going to peek at the battle of midfield from time to time, but we have to know who's going to win this GP.
Yep, 2 McLarens in the top 4. Equals is sort of steadying his gap now, but you imagine he'll finish in P4 when Run Cruiser's penalty is applied. No way past there for the McLaren. And in terms of the championship, well, this is going to catapult Christian up the leaderboard, maybe even to the win. Into the first place of the standings. They are Gamer all the way down in 9th. He can still salvage a couple of more points, maybe get himself up into 6th place if he really pushes on the last 2 laps. But Rompostrat looks like he's going to get 1 point at most. And it will be a good day for Equals despite coming home in P4. But there's still a lap and a half left, so nothing is set in stone.
Yeah, exactly. So as we enter second sector, Sachinidis actually has 0.7 worth of gap over Christian, which is a bit more than it used to be. I wonder, is it because Christian is holding back more, or Sachinidis just decided to push? I'm pretty sure it's the second option because I can see Sachinidis dropping a bit of his battery. Now both of them burning the battery as Christian is using that slipstream to get a bit closer, 0.65 as we enter the final lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix in a minute, and Sachinidis is going to be starting it as the race leader. He's going to finish it as the race leader. We're about to find out in 1 lap time. Here we go. Sachinidis to the finish line against Christian and Mali with Run Cruiser in the mix with all his penalties applied. So 0.5 already. Christian trying to get closer towards Sachinidis. Now he's going to have DRS. He's going to have a slipstream. Yellow flag in the back, caused by a Haas driver. Oh no, that was Scamaga, sorry. But still, here we go. Sachinidis, 0.5. He's gonna have first DRS line. He's gonna pull away to the left. He's not wanna give too much of a slipstream towards Christian. He's gonna stay in the front on the straight line. 0.3 already getting dangerously close to Sahinidis, but he's gonna have to make his move as soon as possible. He's got a bit more battery than the Williams driver, but he's still in the lead. 0.4 as they go to the long straight. Here we go. Can Christian get closer? 0.3. He's right on the back of Williams basically, but he's gonna have to find a way past him. He's gonna have the best chance after these fast corners on that DRS straight. Can he do him right there as he gets closer and closer? DRS is going to be wide open for Christian. 0.3. Can he get him as he burns the whole battery down? It looks like he's going to get him. Christian moves to the left. Can he hold defending nicely?
Great defending.
Can he hold
one more chance up the inside? He's going to charge around the outside.
He's gonna do it.
He's going to the inside for the next corner. Avoid the curbs. Yes, he's done it. And there's a Marley. Oh no! Oh no! It's a McLaren 1-2. Equals gets the podium. Equals gets the podium. And Sahinidis finishes P8 when he could have won the race. It was meters, a couple of meters ahead of Christian. He would have won the race. Instead, the FIA will definitely be looking at that. Somehow Marley manages to get to the line in P2 in one piece. Sahinidis in P8. Run Cruiser's penalty because of how close they all are. Dropped him all the way down to P9. But a good P3 from Equals. And Christian, well, he did an outstanding drive. He did well in that last corner to just get himself ahead. Completely legal move. And he earned that victory fair and square. But there'll definitely be some controversy about Marley and Sahinidis, who's so unlucky to finish all the way down there with only 2 points after maybe having 25, if not 18 in the bag.
I mean, Sahinidis was basically robbed of a podium at least. I mean, Christian would have most likely win anyway after that incredible move, but it was overshadowed immediately by Marley's attempt of the move on Sahinidis. So yeah, a huge heartbreak for the Williams driver. And I mean, how do we even give driver of the day? Cruiser without penalties would be the easiest pick, but finishing P9 is not gonna get that most likely. Basco from P15 up into P6, but then again, the most obvious pick from last lap would be Christian for that move itself. I mean, that move for the win was absolutely one of the best we have seen in the recent races when it comes to final lap showdowns for the win. What do you say?
Christian started P2, Sahinidis started P4. I would be tempted to give it to Sahinidis despite his result. P10
like a reward for something, right? Like a reward for...
Etney up to P4 from P10. It's a difficult one because there were so many good performances.
Yeah.
What does chat say?
I mean, to be honest, chat was dead the whole
yeah, but there's still 10 people watching, so they're just silent.
There's like 2 messages on the chat. It was chat is popping when it was like final lap and nobody and then it was mega move from Christian. Oh, and Chantron Mafiu, or whatever it's pronounced, like I was engineering Christian. So congratulations to you, buddy. So I guess. So I have no idea who to give driver of the day. We're gonna have to think about that. But yeah, then again, an extreme finish to the race, to say the least. And the race itself was actually quite nice as well. We have a bit of action, a bit of calm before the storm. So a bit of everything in the race at Silverstone in Tier 2. Definitely worth watching if you've been with us. So yeah, are we gonna have any kind of interview? I mean, I would love to talk to Sahinidis as of right now. Or at least
I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he's gonna show up anytime soon in here. So yeah, and I don't even blame him. So yeah, we're gonna wait a bit for if somebody wants to give his thoughts and opinions about the race. If not, then we're gonna wrap up the race here in Silverstone. And again, remember that there is one last showdown in Great Britain tomorrow for Tier 1 before we head for the next round of Season 14. And where are we going for the next round?
Belgium.
The next race is going to be round 5 Belgium. So Spa is going to be next week. And personally, I can't wait. I love the track. I love to watch cars go around on it. And fight for the win because that is a great track to watch some racing. And I don't think anybody has the nerves to come here and talk about this race, especially the guys in top. So yeah, we're gonna be slowly wrapping up this GP. Definitely plenty of action, plenty of everything. Do you prefer this kind of GP with that kind of finish over last week Baku? Oh, actually, sorry, we do have an interview. Gamer is here to talk to us, so let's get him in. Hello.
Hello.
So, tell us about your race. How did you find it? Did you enjoy it? And overall opinion about the race?
Enjoy is a big word. I was neutral the whole way. I don't know, like I was not confident from the first lap in practice. It's just not my track. I tried to play with the setup to make it more comfortable for me, but I don't know. I can't seem to push same as the guys in the front, and that's just shown like with my quali and my race. Just not the good of pace. I could not really like, get past Basco and Gola like very well, and even Ed Nisteren, the new guy who's
The
first
new
champion
guy.
in SLR.
Calling him the new guy.
All the new guy.
The new guy.
All-
He was here from season 1.
yeah,
He actually was.
the new old guy.
Etney.
You old guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the returned.
Yeah, that is one old guy. Yeah, I didn't even have pace on him, so and he just came back to F1. So yeah, it just didn't seem to me like I had good race pace. If I was in the train with them, maybe I could stick with them. Yeah, but I don't think when they pulled away, I think just was just too much fighting, like much, and I think I need this early on, and I have no idea like later on, but they just the gaps were too big, like after this start or like the start of the race. I think people just was a bit too ambitious at the beginning, and just kept fighting, not letting other people go who are faster, and that just made the field like spread out. And because I was at the back, I just couldn't really, overtake everyone and just try to get at the top. So yeah, that was frustrating, but I think I had pace anyway. So I was satisfied with finishing P5 after starting P5. Maybe there's some penalties ahead. I hope, but yeah, honestly, like just decent race, not really that spectacular. But I'm happy it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, have you seen that finish from your perspective? I mean,
Ooh,
I mean,
I was so far behind, so I can really.
I mean, you have to watch that replay. I mean, I don't know if you saw the scoreboard where it was like Christian leading, then it was Sakhnidis second with Mali in third, and then Sakhnidis went from P2 to P8 in a couple of seconds. So I recommend you watch the replay of the final
Well,
moments because worth
yeah,
watching anyway.
I saw Sanitas, the last corner spinning, so yeah, I saw like the aftermath, but the scoreboard just didn't show me the top guys because I was just so far behind. But I had a good battle at the back with the girl and Basco. I managed to overtake both the last lap, so yeah, that was exciting for me, regardless of the guys at the top. So yeah, I just I think Christian won, so that would be he'd be like go I think P1 in the championship. So that was kind of unfortunate to be honest. But I hope I'm close because I'm satisfied with being like close in the championship until like the last rounds because I'm more confident there in Saudi and Suzuka and the other tracks. Yeah.
And what do you think about Spa that we head to next week to Belgium? What do you feel about the track? How do you feel about it?
Spa. I don't know. Like I don't really like drive it much because it's a long track and it's very boring to drive in TT. To be honest, like
Excuse me.
if you mess up like at the end of the lap, you have to restart at the back. It's very annoying. But I don't have any opinion on it. I was surprised by my pace at the first round, so I'm hoping to be surprised again in Spa and have good race pace to fight with Rombo, Equals, and Christian at the front. But yeah, I think I would need like a couple of laps of practice. But yeah, it's not my track. But
A couple.
I'm just trying to do as best as I could, at the first half because I like the second half a lot more than the first.
And do you have any other questions to our guest?
Nope.
Okay, thank you for your time, our gamer. Congratulations on. I mean, I would congratulate you, but you haven't done that quite well, so I'm gonna congratulate you.
Yeah,
Man,
I would
wait, no,
congratulate you, but
CM
you
Punk,
failed.
No, CM Punk is the most negative guy on me. I swear. Like I
No,
watch
no, no.
every Toto
I'm the
stream,
most.
and
No,
he's
I'm the
saying like,
most
"Oh
negative
my
guy on
god,
He's
Dice.
realistic.
no, he's going into. Oh my god, this guy is so bad," and
I
it worked for
praised your
me. And
strategy like 2
no,
times that season. We're round 4. Come on.
no man, you are always so negative against me, man.
Nah.
There is some hidden agenda there. I think.
Nah,
I
you
don't
should
know.
hear me talk about Dice, man. Anyway, thanks for your time, buddy, and we'll
Yeah,
see
no
you next
worries.
week.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye bye. Thank you for commentating also.
Thank you.
Bye.
And we also have Gurla in the commentary section waiting, so let's
Gula.
get him in as well. Hello, Gurla.
Hello.
So, how did the Ferrari feel about this track, this race? I mean, it wasn't much of your race. What happened there? Because we saw you in the back plenty of times, and at least a couple of those were not by your own mistake. What happened?
Yeah, in the beginning of the race, I think there were like 3 wide that turned 3, I believe, and someone spun. I think it was Crawley voice.
Yeah,
And
Crowley.
I was just behind them, so I couldn't avoid them. And I broke my front wing, so I had to pit. And fortunately, a few laps later, there was a safety car, so I could catch up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because that wasn't the best race you guys have had so far. But then again, we know you can show us much more than that. What do you feel about Spa that we're heading for next week?
Should be a good track to get some points. My goal for this race was to not spin and stay consistent throughout the race, because the last 3 races of the season, well, the first 3 races of the season, I spun at least once in all of them. So, and I lost points because of that. So my goal for this race was just to not spin and try and keep with the group, like however my pace is. If it's bad, it's bad, but at least I won't make any mistakes, like unnecessary mistakes. And so that's what I did, and I managed to get P7, which is my best finishing position for this season. And so I'm happy with it. But I could have gotten a lot better. I think there was a moment where if I could have overtaken Basco, I think I could have gotten Ethnic 2 a few laps later, and that would have been P4, I think. So yeah, I got a bit nervous and made some mistakes, which prevented me to overtake Basco, and then at the end, our gamer with the superior racecraft overtook me at the last lap. So, but still, P7 is very good for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you have any more questions to our guest?
Guess my answer.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
thank you for your time, Gurla. And hopefully, you're going to have a better race next week, you and your buddy from Ferrari. So, good luck next week in
Yeah,
Spa.
we need some points.
Yep.
Yep,
So,
see
thank you
guys.
for your time. See ya.
You.
And that's going to be a wrap of the Silverstone Grand Prix, Great Britain Grand Prix. Next week we head into Spa, of course. Tune in for tomorrow for Tier 1 of Silverstone. We're going to have a final race here in Great Britain. And then join us next week for Spa, of course, Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1 throughout. What is it? Wait a minute. Thursday. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. Wait a minute. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yes, exactly. So tune in for those days to watch our drivers go round and round in Belgium. So my name was CM Punk. Today my co-host was
Joel. It's not such
and
an
thank you
inventive
guys
name.
yeah. So thank you guys for sticking with us, and we'll see you next week.